Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Reselling 101, part 11 of 10. Yes, it goes to 11. This is the end of our series, or is it just the beginning? I would like to dedicate today's show to Joni. Not to put her on the spot, but you need motivation? All right, girl, I gotcha. I'm going to do my best. So here we are at the end of this series. I think when we first started, let me scoot up a little. You don't need to know that I'm as vertically challenged as I am. But when we first started this series, I wondered if we'd actually get through it. You know, all great ideas start out as great ideas, but it takes the ability to overcome inertia to put them into practice, right? To turn them into action. And I have so enjoyed taking this part of my journey along with you guys. If you've been here for the entire series, thank you so much. If it's your first time, thank you as well, but you got to go back to the beginning. You got a lot of catching up to do. The mom in me, and you'll hear me say that all the time, being the mother of a teenage boy and having to reinvent how I interact with him and try my best to make him a good, productive human being, my life's work and goal, right? You'll hear me say a lot, the mother in me wants to teach you how to do something, not what to do exactly. It's just like the whole how to think, not what to think. At some point, you're going to have to create and maintain your own toolbox and put it into practice. So if parts of this series have been a little bumpy for you, I'm sorry, not sorry, because you're not going to retain it, you're not going to grow, you're not going to prosper if you're not working hard to make yourself better, whether it's through reselling or through life or whatever. And as today's shirt will tell you, oh, you can't see Yoda, wait. Only once you live. So there you go. OOYL. So if you came here looking for answers, I hope that you got a few nuggets along the way. But more so, I hope that I am sending you out into the universe with more questions. And I don't mean that to frustrate you, but I want you to seek out the knowledge that you need to be better, do gooder than you're doing right now. I can't do it for you. Myriad other YouTube channels can't list for you. We can't make it happen for you. You have to do you. You have to make it happen. So if there's anything that continues from here, I think I want it to be motivation. I want to help keep you guys motivated and on point and focused on whatever your, don't even call it the Holy Grail. Don't even make your goals sound like there's something completely out of reach, because I think that sort of defeats us even before we get started. You know, this community, it has a wealth of knowledge and a bunch of people that are willing to be supportive of you along your own journey. So in prepping for this morning, you know, I printed out all of the, if you could see, it's a lot, but I made an outline every day of the 10. And actually there were 10.5 because, you know, for photography, I had to do more than one, can't fit it all into one show. But in reviewing all the notes, and I'm not going to, you know, bore you guys or inundate you with line item by line item of what we talked about. But we touched on so many things, right? We touched on planning our business, you know, how we're going to source, the processes that we put into place, inventory systems, details, spelling, grammar, spelling, photography. Gosh, I can't say enough about photos, and I can't wait to get back to taking more photos. And you can see behind me, I've got tons of things to take photos of, right? Spreadsheets, listing, actually selling something, how we ship things. So now what? Here we are at the end of this series, and I playfully called it the end ? But if you, what now? Where do we go from here? And for some of you, you might be thinking, well, I'm back to where I started. And if your starting point was a place of unaction, and you've been along for the entire ride here, we need to take a look at that, because you have to take action for this to work. And when you're making your goals and you're deciding how you're going to proceed, the very first most important thing is just do something. We get paralyzed with fear, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, the fear of being uneducated in something, the challenges that accompany something new. Oh, I love this part, because on this one, I just have to be on a motivational soapbox. And you guys, this is probably going to be my favorite one. At the end, and I'll try to do it without my glasses, but we're actually going to do questions at the end. So if you have questions, save them for just a little bit, and I will do my best, and we'll talk about them in the moment, and we go. But take that first step. More you. And the only thing that rhymes with tube was boob, so I didn't want to call you guys a bunch of boobs. So more concentrating on you. I think that we can also paralyze ourselves with analysis paralysis. Just like noses, opinions, everybody's got one, right? There's another term, but we're keeping it PG. So don't over inundate yourself with other people's opinions, experiences, what they know. I'm not saying people are wrong, but everybody, so many times I've gone into Facebook groups, for example, or these chats where I love that people want to help and answer, but there are 100 answers to every question that you can ask, because it's life experience for that particular item. And again, the only way you're going to get better and gain that experience is if you just do it yourself. And even if you make a mistake, you have to engage yourself. Happen. If I could choose one thing to send you guys off with after this series, it's to educate yourself. When in doubt about anything, and you can actually use this, I think, put it in your personal skills toolbox, go directly to the source. So if you have a question about postage and you're shipping via USPS, go to USPS.com. If you make merch shirts, merch is really specific. Merch by Amazon, in what their rules are, they outline it for you. eBay does the same thing. Even PayPal, they'll, believe it or not, tell you how much they're going to charge you in advance. And I don't mean to be flippant, but you're not going to get the knowledge and retain the knowledge that you need by simply pinballing off of everybody else's experiences. No one knows everything about everything. It's just not possible. And so YouTube channels, forums, chats, Facebook groups allow us to interact in a positive and productive way. Yes? And I'm going to share with you a personal story that's really been on my mind this week. Part of being a successful human, being successful in your business, is treating yourself well, taking good care of yourself and your health. So we walk, we exercise, well, not as much as we should on the exercise part, but we're getting there. We eat right, and we follow, or in particular, a Whole30 lifestyle. And Melissa Hartwig had to do an interview this week, and it was difficult because she sort of had to rehash some personal experiences and challenges, failures, and successes, and it was really hard. And she's always really raw and very frank, and I appreciate and love her for that. For her to take the support that was being just literally poured out from the Whole30 community, and she took a day, reflected on it, but the biggest source of comfort and support that she got was that a couple of friends of hers told her that when she was doubting what she did and why she did it, said, you do what you do because you can. She doesn't pretend or portray herself as knowing everything. She just wants to share what she does know with other people and hopefully make a positive impact on their lives. That's what we do here. And example, I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but consider that if you're gaining something supportive or educational pay it forward, share it. There's somebody, you could be brand new at this, but I guarantee you there's still somebody newer than this, than you are. So just don't be above or beyond helping out another person. It's so important, and I think it's why we are put on this planet. And there you go. That's my soapbox for today on that kind of stuff. Seek out like-minded people, like-minded, positive people to share your journey. As for me, when I first started this, I had the benefit of, living with someone that has been doing this full time now for a couple of years. And if I'm being fully transparent and totally honest with everyone, this listing thing is just, it's not my thing, or at least it wasn't. When you do it to help somebody else, and then it's like your avocation and your vocation can't really be the same thing. And I've spoken a lot on, while I love photography and taking pictures, and my background is in nature and adventure and portraits and this and that, it was a little stretch for me. There was a creative bump for me, and taking pictures, that was nice, but I was really afraid what that would do to my desire to create. And I've searched out actually little nuggets along the way that can help me maintain that with what I do. But when we first started this series, I was not the most motivated person to do what I'm trying to motivate you guys to do. And that's just me being honest. And you can see behind me the things. I have lots of possibilities, right? We all do. If you haven't done it already, go through your house, get your old roller skates, or your football, rugby ball, shoes, whatever, and make money out of seemingly nothing. I appreciate that it's a struggle. I appreciate the hustle, and I know that it's hard work. And just because your neighbor Bob is doing it and you think, oh, I can do it if Bob can do it, yeah, maybe not. You're going to have to invest your own blood, sweat, and tears in this to make it happen. Don't take anything for granted. Get out there, just stop talking about it and make something happen. So there. I've loved participating in this series. I've had so much fun. I thank everybody for all of your support. I guess we could take a couple of questions if there are any. I can barely see the PROF there.
Somebody asked if you're selling Mr. Potato Head, what you're selling for. I said it wasn't listed yet.
It's not listed yet, but yes, I have a whole collection of Mr. Potato Heads. Oh, the question was, am I selling the Mr. Potato Head? Yeah, I have a whole collection of potato heads that I've collected ever since Ben was little. I have the Panther one. I have just about every Star Wars one. I put them in the attic of a house several years ago, though, and I lost a couple, because once the packaging goes, you really can't resell them, and that was just a heartbreak. So lesson learned, even before I was reselling, treat those things very well. Put them in containers with lids so that critters in particular can't get to them. It was an attic in an old house, and best efforts to keep said critters out. They still found my potato heads. So there you go. Any other questions there?
Thrifty Reseller says they keep putting off. They have so much to list.
Who?
Thrifty Reseller.
Uh-huh.
They have so much to list. They keep putting it off.
Yeah, so Thrifty, when you have so much to list and you keep putting it off, here's the thing. And it's my answer to everything. And I actually have a family member who has a warehouse full of stuff, right? And it's just sort of sitting there. And the rent on that warehouse is into whatever profit is going to be made from those items. This is my answer to you. And it's going to be a question, and I want you to think about it for a second. How do you eat an elephant? Seriously, words to live by. How do you eat something so big, so large? How do you take the first step? One bite at a time. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not being snarky. At some point, you have to just take that first step and not look at it as this mountain of stuff that is preventing you from doing anything. There's something to be said about that little cha-ching that you hear. If you've got a smartphone, it's this really cool thing. eBay has this thing where it'll notify you in your little phone when you hear people joke about the cha-ching thing. The first time I sold something, I think the very first thing I sold was like within a week. It was a bulk pair of bulk socks, like this big pack of socks that I'd probably bought for somebody and they never wore them. So I'll show you. I took it back and I sold it. And we were actually in the middle of a Goodwill in South Carolina, and like a little kid at Christmas, that cha-ching went off and you could hear me squeal down the rows, and like people thought I was just nutso. But I ran with my phone and I showed Jason and Tiffany and I said, oh, I sold my first thing. So I was officially a reseller at that point, right? But you have to just overcome your inertia, baby step. You're not going to get the entire mountain processed, but make a goal of just doing one thing. Just make one thing. Maybe do a set of 5 items where you just take the pictures and upload them. Do a draft. Just do something. Anything that you do is more than the nothing that you're currently doing. Don't let it intimidate you. You know, tell me and we'll do a video thing and I'll just be there in your background being your cheerleader. I forgot my, oh, here they are. So we had props the other day for Reseller Appreciation Day. So when you are down, you think of me in your corner cheering you on. And remember, it's green for money. Ah! So yay, go you. Sell all the thingies. You can do this one thingy at a time. Other questions? Okay, so here we are at this bittersweet moment where we're coming to the close of this series. Again, I've sincerely loved spending this time with you guys as often as we could. Initially, it wasn't the most, or ultimately, it wasn't the most consistent of schedules because we had to work around it. But school's out now. It's summer. Another month or two, and we'll all compare notes, and maybe we'll do a reunion show of sorts for all our Reselling 101 friends. But I hope that in watching this, or, you know, thank you for, you know, considering listening to what I have to say, but I hope that I've imparted some amount of confidence. And if you're looking at that big mountain behind you, or, you know, like I am behind me, it just takes one thing. Just list your first thing. Take your first picture. Make some mistakes because you're not going to grow if you don't make some mistakes. I can't tell you enough also to be kind to yourself. Never stop exploring and growing because we don't get better if we remain stagnant. And I know I feel everyone's pain in that. I can totally relate. When we're doing nothing, we're not growing. We're not getting better. We're not benefiting anybody, especially ourselves. And we really need to look out for ourselves, especially if there are other people in our lives that we're entrusted with to care for and love. We're not going to be much good to them either if we're not taking good care of ourselves. So again, this is certainly not the only way, but it's hopefully a supportive way. It's my way. Please consider somewhere down there smashing the like button. I owed Adam that, and I think I'll be the Lollipop Guild the next time, or Popeye, or Mae West, or smash the like button. You know, it wouldn't be me if I didn't approach this with some sort of childlike attitude, sound effects, funny voices, and all. I hope that you've gotten some ideas. Your questions have been answered. More questions have come up. And I hope that you continue to effectively evolve and stay positive and profitable. And all of these videos are time capsules. So this is your way to help me pay it forward for other people. If you had a question today, or if you have one as we're closing out here, please consider putting your questions and constructive comments below so that other people that come along after today can benefit from that information as well. And I'll go back through on all the videos here and review and make sure that I haven't left any answers out. But that's going to help other people. So I hope that you guys keep killing it, you crazy kids. Godspeed and best to you all. Now, get out there and put into practice all of the things that we've talked about, people. And for the last time for this series, this is Kaaren signing off for now and wishing you all very good sales to you. Thanks.